Hi, welcome back. We are here for another installation of Let's Talk, where we talk to our panel of experts, our guests who are not just experts in their crafts, but who I call masters at what they do. And we have
Oh
a
man.
candid conversation. And this week, okay, every week I say that this is my good friend, but child, listen. No, no. No. This is my best guy friend in the
Yeah.
whole wide world.
Yeah.
Forever and ever since we were, I guess I was what, 18, 19,
Yeah.
20, 21, maybe 2021, because I had Thomas, but he was just a baby.
Yeah.
This
He
is
was
my
little.
best friend. I call him Brian.
Hey, what's up, Melly
I'm so
Mel?
happy to have you.
Oh man, I'm so excited to be a part of this. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay! Okay, so listen, we're gonna dive right into the conversation. But before we do, y'all, stop what you're doing. Go to Find Out. Oh, you already at Find Out Consulting Group page because you're watching the show. But subscribe, hit the
Mhm.
bell so you know every time I'm on here clowning and having a fantastic conversation with one of my friends. Okay, we back to the show. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your friends. Now, Brian, tell us about yourself.
Well, first off, I am Melva's male best friend, so that's what I want to just say first. And she my
Yeah,
female best friend. No,
yeah,
but
I better be.
they give me a title that I'm a platinum producer and recording artist and songwriter. So I just been blessed to be able to have done some cool things in my life and work with some other cool people or whatever. So yeah, that's my story. I mean, and an entrepreneur too, you know.
Look
So
at you.
yeah, that's my story.
And you sticking to it. What is your entrepreneur work in?
Um, I've done I've done work in Airbnb. I've done
Okay.
work in I mean stocks like that. I've done work in the home healthcare business. So now I'm trying to do something different. So just a few different things that I dibble and dabble in. But you know, because in the music business, the music is good, but you also got to have other things on the
Yeah.
sideline that's bringing in passive income. So that's what I do.
So we know you as a producer, and I always say this not an interview. I just like to guide the conversation, but in me guiding the conversation, I have questions, okay? And I think
Okay.
everybody else does too.
Okay.
Okay. So I know that you're not in St. Louis.
Now I moved out of St. Louis and I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada,
Look at
and
you. You famous.
it's just beautiful. I love it. The sun, as you can see, the sun behind me just shining through my windows. I can't even like see in my house sometimes. It be so bright. But yeah, I had to get closer to the sun. We sun people, so I had to get closer to the sun.
So what is it that is making you not in St. Louis? Can we talk about that?
You know what? In today's time, because of the internet, you can make money from anywhere remotely. So I wanted to be in Vegas because I just simply just like the way it felt. I like the positive energy. I love the way the sun shine majority of the time. So I came here for that. You know, just to honestly to feel better. Because when you feel
Okay.
better, you do better,
Yeah.
and better things come to you according to how you feel. So I came here because it makes me feel better.
So when we talk about that, and I think that's a good place to start our conversation, feeling better. Now that we're in our 40s, I know that a lot of us, we are in our various cities, whether it be for our families, for financial gain. But how much stock do you feel like goes into being somewhere where you're just at peace?
I think that's the number one thing. Like honestly
Mm,
speaking, like your peace is you can't put a price on your peace. I could put a price on everything else, but I
okay.
can't put a price on my peace because my peace is what's going to get me to the level that I want to be at. Like I said before, well, we all know, so a man thinks, so he is.
Yeah.
So if I'm feeling good, then I'm thinking good. If I'm thinking good, then I'm in that energy or I'm in alignment to bring great things to me. So
Hmm.
it's important for me to feel good. If I feel good, then I'm gonna be good for everybody around me. I'm the patriarch of my family. So I
Yeah.
gotta feel good. Even though I'm in another city, I feel good when they call me, when they need me, I can do whatever I have to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To accommodate them. But I
Mm-hmm.
just gotta feel good first. It's about what I feel first. I gotta feel good.
So what about people who say that's selfish? Like, why is it about your feeling and feelings? I think so I am reading a book called How to Own Your Own Mind.
Yeah.
And it says two of the elements of our thinking that fails us the most are our senses and our emotions. And we tend to lean more towards that, and our thinking tends to respond more to that versus what happens in the subconscious and even our own will.
Yeah.
So, what happens when people are like feeling good?
Yeah.
Like, why is it important? That's not a priority. That's not what is responsible to
Yeah.
some people, and I'm not agreeing with those people. I'm just saying because I
Yeah.
have my own opinion, and I'll
Yeah.
say it.
Well,
But yeah.
my actual factual experience on feeling good is it's the first priority of my life, how I
Mhm.
feel.
Mhm.
Because I am the only one responsible for how I feel.
Yeah.
So that's first and foremost of all. So
Yeah.
I will put it to you like this. I believe in the God in me.
Mhm.
I don't subscribe to God outside of me. I know
Mm.
that there's God outside of me. I know that there's an Almighty God, of course,
Mhm.
that is the God of all. But I
Mhm.
subscribe to the God inside of me first. So
Mhm.
if I feel good and I'm subscribing to the God inside of me first, then that means that I'm opening the way to be used by the God in me.
Mhm.
So if I always feel bad, if I feel low, then I'm not accessible for the God in me to operate. So
Mhm.
I have to feel good first. I
Mhm.
am first. That's how I view that. So if God works for me, through me, as me, I'm gonna say that again. If
Mhm.
God works for me, through
Mhm.
me, as me, then I have
Mhm.
to put me first in order for God to use me.
Uh-huh.
So that's my theory on that.
That's your theory. I like that. So I had two things to say to that. Number one,
Okay.
I was in DC over the weekend, and I expressed a desire to move there before. Look at me, my lipstick is crazy. I'm sorry, Brad. I don't want you thinking I'm just. But now that I'm looking at me, I'm noticing. Listen,
Girl, you
every
look beautiful.
area.
Stop it.
Okay, but I've expressed the desire to move there to a couple of people I'm close to. Um, but when I actually got there this weekend, and even when my daughter got there, she's the one that first was like, I'm not moving anywhere. I don't want to move
Right.
out my friends. When we got there, it felt so amazing
Okay.
and safe.
Yeah.
And it just answered everything I thought it would.
Yeah.
I felt like I was supposed to be there. And so that's
Yeah.
the goal. Give it a couple years. I'm throwing it out there in front of everybody. That's
Right.
cheap.
Right.
But give it a couple years, I'll be there. But the point is, I think there is a lot to be said about being in a place where you feel comfortable and at
Yeah.
peace and
Yeah.
thriving, or with the ability to thrive, because that's what's important. Having life in it abundantly, creating generational wealth. Okay, I say that, but then let's go back to another thing you said
Okay.
about the God in you. One thing I listened to verse by verse. We talked about this on my last show with Oscar Williams. Thomas asked me, he told me he saw you not too long ago.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, was he happy to see you? He's like, I see him all the time, Mom.
Yeah.
What? He didn't pick you
Yeah.
up and toss you around and
Right. He too
stick
big
your
now.
cheek.
I wanted to though, believe you me.
I
I
wanted
did
to.
want to. I just knew he wouldn't let me.
I was like, he's one of those that's been around since you was a baby, Thomas.
Right.
But I listened to verse by verse, and one of the things that struck me, he's in Matthew chapter 4, and he's talking about when I call him Yeshua. So I'm gonna call
Me
him,
too.
as they say,
Yay.
if his mama call him Yeshua, I'm gonna call him Yeshua.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Your
call him
mama call you
Yeshua
Clay,
too.
I'm gonna call you Clay. And it's no offense to anybody who calls him Jesus, that's your relationship.
Yeah, that's
But
good
I
for you.
choose to call him by his name, since
Yeah,
I
me
know
too.
his name, and
Yeah,
neither
me
is there
too.
salvation in any other, for there is no other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. And the name Yeshua means salvation. Look it
There
up.
it is.
I
Amen. I
challenge you to
like
look
that.
it up. And if you think I'm wrong or mad at me, look it up.
Yeah,
At least it's his
it's
name.
easy. Yeah,
It's easy, a quick solution.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's easy.
and we're back.
Right.
We're back. So Yeshua is being tempted by Lucifer. And the thing that got me was, or by Satan, because that's who they called him in Matthew. The thing that got me was he was tempting him while he had been fasting 40 days.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the thing about it is, if you've ever gone without eating, you go from being starving to your body getting used to not eating,
Yeah,
to then
yeah,
your body going crazy, willing to eat anything. So
yeah.
imagine
Feeding on you.
going,
Yeah,
40 days. And the first thing he tips him with is turn the rocks into bread.
yeah,
Picture being so hungry after 40 days. And somebody say, well, if you want to prove you are who you are, then do the thing that you could do that will satisfy you.
yeah,
That's how the enemy gets us. He tempts us with the thing to satisfy us. The first thing he does is detach us from the promises of God
yeah,
and from who we are in him. But then it gets us to this place where we began to serve our needs. That's the first thing
yeah,
we do when we become hungry.
yeah,
Let me serve my needs. And
yeah,
it becomes more of us looking to God as this outside, like you were saying. We start looking at him as this outer source, this source of
yeah.
a genie to pay my bills, and
Right,
what are you
right.
going to do for me? And it's either I feel like you're either equal to me because I can call you out to do stuff for me, or I feel like you serve me because I can manipulate you to do. That's what we do.
Wow.
We try
I
to
never thought
manipulate
about
him.
that. That's a
But
good one.
don't
I
we?
never thought about that.
We
That's
try to
good though.
manipulate him into doing for us, like, well, if it was really a God, or if you really was, then you would see that
Or
I'm in this and
yeah.
I'm doing this, and and well, I guess you're not gonna do this, and I guess we think then we get mean with them, like, oh, well, I guess I'm a.
Or if you
So
just do this one time, Lord, I
if you
promise
just
I
do
won't.
this one, that means you have put him on this platform of Brad Young. If you just do this one favor for me.
Right, right, right.
If you do, and then you'd be like, okay, Melly Mel, like what can you talk me into?
Right,
What can you
right.
convince me of? Not
Yeah.
what's best for me, not what you feel will take me to my expected end. It
Yeah.
is, what can you do for me now, because I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't like where I am. I don't like this situation. So we begin to externalize him instead of becoming what the New Testament called us, servants.
Yeah.
Instead of becoming a slave to the suffering. And not to say to be with him, we have to suffer
Right.
financially. Right. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the suffering of our own self-desires, the lust
Yeah,
of the
the
eyes, the
suffering
lust
of
of the
this
flesh,
of denying your flesh.
denying your flesh, bringing it together to a
Yeah.
place where it is aligning us to really empty ourselves to serve him.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, I wonder where, and I'm not saying this to discount what you said, because I agree with what you said. I'm saying it to say, where do we find the balance between self-serving and being willing to be uncomfortable to get the job done, to serve like we're supposed to?
I think that I like this. Greater is he that is within me than he who is in the world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like that's so greater is him that is within me, my higher self. You know what I'm saying? The God in me. You know what I'm saying? The source between God and I, or God and my body, my spirit, which is in me, than he who is in the world, which is my body, my flesh. So I feel like this. if I can think about that and operate as the greater that's within me
Mm-hmm.
than he who is in the world, then I'll be okay.
But what does that mean? Because then, so let's go back to Yeshua. And
Mm-hmm.
he said, if it's your will, take this cup. I don't want to do this. I'm the son of God. And yet he said, but not my will, but thy will. So
Mm-hmm.
where do we say, I know that what's in this cup is bitter,
Yeah.
but nevertheless at thy will?
So that's why I say greater is he that
How
is
do we
within me.
determine? But what if the
Okay.
greater in you is not giving you good results? Let's look at John the
The greater,
Baptist.
okay, so this
He
how I
was
view it.
beheaded.
This how I view it. The greater in me can never give me bad results because the greater in me is the direct source to God. My spirit, and this is my theory. This is my theory. Now, I know I ain't telling nobody to subscribe to what I believe. But what I believe in is that my spirit is perfect. But I was born into sin and flesh.
Yeah.
But how was I born into sin? Because my spirit is all knowing. Because my spirit is directly connected to the Most High God.
Yeah.
So if my spirit is directly connected to the Most High God, it's never wrong.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you have to subscribe to the God in. That's the reason why you have to pray and meditate the same way Yeshua did, so that you don't make the wrong decisions. Because if you trust greater is he within me, then you won't ever go wrong. If you meditate, you won't make a mistake.
Yeah.
But see, the way we go wrong is when we trust our flesh. Think about this. You remember back in the day we used to watch cartoons and like it'd be like Daffy Duck or Sammy Sam, and he'd have to make a decision, and then he'd have an angel on his shoulder and a devil on his shoulder. Greater is he that is within me, the angel, than he who is in the world, the devil. So he that is within me, your spirit, he who is in the world, your flesh. But think about this. Both of them was him. The angel was him and the devil was him. Both of them was him. His flesh and his spirit. He was battling between mind and soul. So you have to, if you read about, when we read about Yeshua, right? His disciples said that he prayed and he meditated all day. We don't meditate enough. Because it's impossible for you to know yourself until you meditate. You ain't never been by yourself until you meditated. Because being alone does not mean that you by yourself. Because you can be alone and be on your phone. That don't mean you by yourself. You can be alone and watch TV. Being by yourself, meaning self within, meaning shutting out everything that's on the outside and channeling within. Meditating. That's why Christ meditated all day long, because he was spending time with the God within. He was connecting with the Father. That's how he was connected with the Father, through meditation. So when he was meditating, that's the reason why he was guided and he made no mistakes, through meditation, through him spending time with himself. See, Christ had a phenomenal gift. His gift was to operate with the God within, greater than any man that's ever existed. He did it better than any man that ever existed. So he can turn water into wine. He can make the blind see. He was already there. See, we got to get there. He said we can do it, but we got to get there. But the way we get there is through meditation and prayer. And choosing the God within. So that's my theory. So yeah.
I like that. I think what people fail to realize in meditation is an act of humility. And it does it, even though you are centered, it acknowledges, well, it depends on how you meditate. Let's start there. But there is an acknowledgement of for me, the insignificance of me. And reaching into that subconscious me, which is the spirit, where the wisdom and the knowledge is infinite.
Yes.
I think the thing we have to do is to lean more towards the subconscious, which is that portal of infinite wisdom and information, and try to line our will with that, and basically the will of being willing and intentional about trying to eliminate as much as your finite thinking
Yeah.
as possible. So I like that. I meditate often. I do mostly guided meditations because I am not good at putting myself into a place of stillness. I
Yeah.
have to have somebody
Yeah.
and the music
Right. I
telling
love the
me,
music, right? I love the music.
yeah, yeah. But I feel like prayer is, and meditation, I'm sorry, is as significant to prayer as supplication is.
You know what I
Uh,
do? I use prayer to give God reference and to thank him.
mhm.
I use meditation to hear,
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
spoken to
yeah. And
learn.
that's what makes it,
Yeah.
that's necessary.
Yeah. So how I view my higher self is my higher being okay, like my life. Just picture your life as a maze.
Hmm.
Your higher self is your higher self because if I'm standing over you looking into that maze, I can tell you which way to go because
Mm,
I see the whole thing.
hmm.
But if I'm side by side with you, I'm just
Hmm.
as blind as you. If I'm
Mm,
standing behind you, I don't know what's going on. If I'm standing in front of you, it's the same thing, or under you, but your higher self can see your yesterday, the day before, 5 years from now. Your higher self can see the entire scope of your life. So
mm.
that's the reason why you have to consult with your higher self, so your higher self can tell you which door to go through in this
Yeah.
maze of life that we don't know, being on this third dimension. We don't
Hmm.
know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we got to meditate. We got to be like Christ. We got to
Hmm.
get into the God within. You know, I say that Christ is God's son, but we are all his sons and daughters, and we all have the same ability. Even Christ said it. Yeshua said it. You just like me. You can do everything I can do. You can call him out the same way I did.
Hmm.
But we got to go within the same way he did. So that's
Hmm.
my take on that.
Look at you, spiritual. That's part of the finite process. So we understand that the knowledge of finance is just one piece, but it takes having balance. It's a behavioral thing. Why people don't prepare for their financial future, why they aren't able to stick with budgets and commitments. So, how important do you feel, or how pivotal or instrumental? Let me say that. How instrumental do you feel your spiritual life is to being disciplined in every other area of your life?
Okay. I like that because if you can be disciplined enough to meditate daily, right? To say, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna meditate before I go to sleep and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
meditate when I wake up. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
that takes a lot of discipline to, like you said, sit still. It takes us so much discipline to just sit still and not grab our phone, not look
Mm-hmm.
at, this, whatever the new show is on this
Mm-hmm.
app or Netflix or Prime, or call your friend or call your lover. It takes a lot to just say, let me block out everything outside of here
Mm-hmm.
and go within every single day. That right there teaches you discipline to begin with. And so I think being centered spiritually, you have to be disciplined, even to get through your meditation, to keep your mind, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
on
from
one
wandering.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep your mind from wandering. Keep your mind on one thing at this one time and not be distracted by any outside sources. Not think about anything else outside of from within.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of discipline. So I feel like being spiritually grounded and centered is the beginning of being disciplined. Another thing I want to say is I've had financial freedom before, but I wasn't centered spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think back, I never really enjoyed that freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I never really enjoyed it when I think back on it
Mm-hmm.
because I was too, I was outside of myself. And I thought that I can buy things that was gonna make me happy. I thought
Mm.
that I could go places that would make me happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I really thought.
Yeah.
But when I think back on those days, I was really depressed. I was
Mm.
just depressed with some numbers in my bank account
Mm.
until I got to the point where when I became spiritually centered,
Mhm.
when I started knowing myself, not my body,
Mhm.
not know you can know your body, but still not know yourself.
Yeah.
When I started knowing myself from within my spirit, it's when I found my peace.
Mhm.
When I found my peace, I didn't have no money. And
Yeah.
I
Look
was
at that.
happier. And I was happier. when I didn't even have. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then my finances started picking back up.
Yeah.
But the peace within helped. You see what I'm saying? And then I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, now I can enjoy this for real.
Yeah.
Because I feel good. I'm peaceful.
Yeah.
I feel peace.
Yeah.
And I can buy whatever I want to. Oh, this is lovely.
On top of but that is okay. So I feel like I went through an experience in my life recently where I thought sure I knew who I was. Like to me, that used to be the highlight of being me. Because I was me, unapologetically me. And I just knew I knew me. And then I woke up and didn't know me. And like you said, it didn't have anything to do with money.
Yeah, it didn't.
It had everything to do with seeking within to find out how I define me.
Yeah,
not
I
other
love that.
people, not
I
the
love
way I
that.
thought I should look for other people or how I should look for other people. The things I felt people would think look good on me, or not what I thought people, how I wanted them to think I should talk or act or laugh, or because see, it's tough when you feel like you're you, and then you have other insecure people who have a problem with you being you, and they'll make you question who you are.
Yeah, they will.
Because they don't like that you talk a lot, or they don't like that you're light-skinned. They don't like that you're loud. They don't like that you're funny, or they don't like that you like to wear a certain style or a certain look. They don't like it. So then they put on you that, oh, you shouldn't do this, or people don't do this, or why are you doing, or how could you? And then you start questioning who you are. And that was the thing. I had to start with looking inside of me. Literally, the first thing I started doing was meditating. Like you said, it just entered a period of being aware and centered and understanding what I like and who I like me to be. And I don't care that I talk a lot. And I don't care that I talk loud. If you don't like it, too bad.
Absolutely.
We talked about I call him my mentor. I know he probably don't like me to call him that, but that's what I call him. My good friend. But he told me that he was like, when I became a vegetarian, and I use this example a lot when presenting for Fine Art doing like conferences and stuff like that. But I use this example all the time. When you define who you are, if I define myself as a vegetarian, then I don't eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
The people who have a problem with me being a vegetarian typically would be people who can't stop eating meat.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just because they don't have the willpower to stop eating meat, all of a sudden now it's something wrong with you because you don't eat meat.
Right.
And I just don't eat it. It's okay. So I had to be okay with, and that means, like he said, and that means if I go to an event where they serve meat, I don't eat. That's fine. Now, me personally, Melva, I'm not a vegetarian. That's just an example.
Yeah.
I'm one of those who don't have the willpower to stop eating meat.
Melva say, bring me a steak. Bring me the prime rib.
Okay, listen. Now, I don't eat no beef, but I eat meat.
Okay.
So that's the thing. I know I lost my light, but that's the thing. So it is, when discovering who I was, I had to be happy with the decision I made about being me.
Right.
Who I like me to be. And that took, like you said, looking within.
Yeah.
And being at peace. And then when you're at peace with yourself and you're at peace with the God in you, with Yahweh in you, and with Yeshua working through you, then other people's opinions are just their opinions.
It don't even matter to you no more.
It doesn't matter.
You know what's cool about life? What I think the coolest thing about life is that we experience life according to our thoughts of ourselves. Yeah. So the coolest thing about that is I experienced life according to my thoughts of me. You remember when we was younger, right?
Uh-huh.
And people used to be like, he think he's somebody.
You did.
That's so cool. I did. But here's the thing, though. I experienced my life according to how I thought of myself. So no matter what nobody else said about me, No
Yeah.
matter what negativity they put on my name, I was only going to experience life according to my thoughts. So
Yeah.
even though at that time I wasn't a platinum producer,
Uh-huh.
I didn't sell millions of records and all of that. In my mind, I was that already. So
Yeah.
eventually I had to experience that according
Yeah.
to my thoughts, not according to their thoughts of me thinking that I thought too much of myself at that time because I wasn't a platinum producer at that moment.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
don't matter what nobody else say about you or what they think about you. You're going to experience life according to your thoughts.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you got to feel good. Because
Yes.
if you're feeling good, you thinking good. If you thinking
Yeah.
good, then your conscious mind is sending those signals out to the universe, and the universe is bringing you back whatever you feeling and thinking.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
the law
why
of
what you
attraction.
feel, yeah, it's the law of attraction. That's why what you
Yeah.
feel is so important. What you feel first is everything. If I feel peaceful, then I'm going to bring more
Attract
peace
peace.
to attract more peace
Yeah.
to me. If I
Yeah.
feel sad, if I feel down, I'm gonna attract more sadness to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I try to live my life. Well, I'm not gonna say I try. I live my life with positive thoughts after positive thoughts. And yes, sometimes negativity will creep into your mind because we are
Mm-hmm.
flesh.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have the go back to discipline. You have to have the discipline and the
Mm-hmm.
willpower to say no.
Yeah.
Nah, nah,
Yeah.
nah, nah, enemy. You ain't about
Yeah.
to get my mind because it all starts here. And then
Yeah.
you gotta go and meditate and pray and recenter yourself. So yeah, we experience life according to our thoughts of ourselves. So I don't listen to what people say about me. It's only what I feel.
I believe you. Okay, I'm gonna tell everybody, Brad Young. Listen, I was there
Yeah,
for you to be thinking.
yeah.
Brad didn't care. He was a platinum what you call it, a platinum
I was
artist
planning everything when
then.
I was before I was ever
Walking,
discovered.
Brad would walk to the studio every day and
Yeah, I
would
didn't care.
be there all day, all night. It wasn't paying him. He wasn't coming home with pockets full of money. He wasn't
Nah.
coming because at that time, Brad, we were staying in the same house.
Yeah.
So I know I can say he wasn't coming home with, but you weren't. It's not like you were coming in and like it was women everywhere. That it was this glamorous life.
Nah.
You were grinding, but even then, you were telling us what you were going to be,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
you weren't going to stop until you got there.
Yeah.
And then we just saw life change for you.
Yeah.
And it went from us feeling like we were doing something for you to me calling you like, Raya, I need some money. And you, well,
You silly.
meet
But
this person on this street, and
yeah.
she gonna come and she gonna bring you. Brad took care of me, y'all. I ain't
But
don't
listen though,
still to this day I
Melva
have to
took care
run.
of me. Melva took me in.
I have to run.
Melva took me in like a homeless person on the street.
But you were, you were grinding.
Yeah,
You were
Melva took
grinding.
me in.
We were young.
Yeah, but I appreciate my real friends who, when I didn't have absolutely nothing, you took me into your home and you just gave me whatever. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was just
We were
all love,
sharing.
man. I just love it, like for real. Like you straight took me in, man. Like I was
You straight took me in.
like I was like a
We,
homeless kid on the street. You know what I'm saying?
but we share everything, Brad.
We did.
We just did,
We
all
did.
of us.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna bust out who was all living in the house.
It was a lot of us though in one house.
Come on.
And Melba's house.
In my house. Brad, remember that time? Y'all, I have felt so guilty about this ever since. Brad hair is so thick. So my sister called herself straightening his hair.
Oh yeah.
It took her forever because his hair was so thick.
Yeah, I had a
And
big old
as
fro.
soon as she straightened it, I wanted to put it in a ponytail, so I put gel. I put gel on it. I didn't know they got it wet all over again.
And napped it right
my
back
hair.
up. Right back nappy.
Blew the whole hair. All that time he spent,
Oh,
it went right back to thick and wet and curly. That was so funny. But we had good times. Nobody knew. We
Yeah,
didn't
greatest
have
days.
anything that
Those
we
are
were just
greatest
kind of
days.
pitching in to live and eat and do. But
No, I didn't pitch in on anything. I just enjoyed. So thank
as
you.
you should, listen, cuz you were there to bring the entertainment. Look, you paid us
Right,
back
right,
later. You
right.
paid later.
Those the
It was
only
an
way I can
all
pitch
you.
in. Just making people have fun. You know what I'm saying? I'll just sing to y'all or something.
But you know what? I feel that's the perfect segue into one of the things that I wanted to discuss with you is not what you know, it's who you know. So we deal a lot in Fine Art with the social aspect of achieving your goals. And one
Uh-huh.
of the important elements to have in place when you are working on a goal or you have something in mind that you're trying to do, you need support. And we
Oh yeah.
always say, do you have 5 people around you that, no questions asked, could come through if you need anything? Can you count on them? And
Yeah.
I think that that is the perfect example of that. Nobody had one thing, right? When
Yeah,
we were
you're
living
right.
together, first
Dang.
of all, my apartment was Section 8. So let's just go ahead and tell the truth, shame the devil. And you can't throw
Right.
me in jail now, Section 8. That was 25
Right.
years ago. So do
Right.
what you want to do. But we was all living with me on Section 8. So I wasn't paying rent. The state was paying the rent.
Right.
And I was getting food stamps. So that's how we were eating.
Yeah.
Fee
All
was
that food in the
working.
freezer. I remember that.
Listen, honey, come on, because if we have anything else, we have food.
All
And
the
Fee,
food.
all the food, but Fee was the one with the car, and she
Yep.
was the one that made real money.
She
You
had
know, she was
cash. Yeah.
stable even then. She had cash. And Brad, for real, you were helping with everything from cleaning to cooking to we were all in it together.
Yeah,
So
we
it
were.
didn't feel like we were struggling. It didn't feel like lack.
It
We
didn't
was
feel
the
like a
fun
struggle at
house.
all. No,
At
it didn't feel like
all.
a
We was
struggle
the
at all. It
fun
was just,
house.
yeah, we just had fun. We just kicked it. There was no stress. It was no
None.
stress. We used to go to the club. Fee would pay for everybody to get in, pay for drinks,
Listen, as you
whatever.
should.
And we just kicked it and just enjoyed life, man. It was the greatest times.
Yeah, and I think so. I think that makes it really puts into perspective how important it is to have people around you
Yeah,
that
they can do things for you. Yeah,
support you.
in different
Yeah,
ways. I agree with that.
yeah,
Your net, yeah, they say your net worth is your network.
it is. It is.
Yeah,
They say that you are the average of your 5 top friends, that your net worth is the average of your 5 top friends. So if you have, say for instance, you have friends that are making 6 figures and you might have some friends making 30,000. They say you're supposed to fall typically right in the middle of that.
yeah,
Most people's, like you said, net worth is their network.
yeah. That's very true. I agree with that though.
I do
I agree
too.
with that wholeheartedly. I think that's the greatest thing. You show me your friends, I show you your future.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, that's what they say. Show me your
Yep.
friends, I'll show you your future. But I'm so blessed and so happy to have friends like you. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's a lot
Me
of
too.
us that we come from very humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Extremely humble beginnings
Very.
to to this time in our lives. It's just like me knowing you and me to be able to call you for
Yeah.
financial advice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
everything because I can say, I can call my friend, she's CPA. I can call my friend, she knows exactly what we should do with this money. I can call my friend, she understands what credit and how we need to move around. Like that is, man, that is incredible to be able to do. Like I could just pick up my phone and call you. Like
I
that's
feel the same
everything.
way.
Yeah.
I do pick up my phone and call you. I'll be like, okay, Brad Young, this is it. Just like with this business, like, how do I want to be big. I want to, like, how can I be known? How can you, what's the marketing
Yeah.
thing? And well, this is
Yeah.
what you got to do, Mill. See, this is how you have to start. See, if you're not doing this, you got to do
Right.
this. You have to do that. Everybody don't have that. Another thing is I have people I've known as long as you or even longer who have the knowledge and expertise and won't even share it.
That's sad.
That is
That's
sad.
sad. That is
That is
sad. That
sad.
is
And you think you're friends, and then you ask for their advice, and it's always either they don't answer, or it's this vague thing, or it's something that I know you do. I know you do this, right? You do this, right?
Right,
For
right.
everybody else, but
I think that
never,
sometimes
yeah,
people may be threatened of other people's light, but not understanding that light attracts light. It can't never be too much light. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I don't care about your light shining
mhm,
because my light shining. I
yeah,
don't even know that your light shining if my light shining.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? And,
yeah.
and so I think a lot of times people see your light and be like, her light probably outshine my light if I give her, you know what I'm saying? But that ain't never the case though, because it's enough for everybody. I
You
just
would
wish that
think,
I
you would
wish we
think
had that more that mindset, man. Like
it's that crab
it's
mentality. And the
yeah,
unfortunate thing is it is very prevalent in St. Louis, honestly. And every city have their thing. Don't get me wrong. But every city, I'm not gonna say just St. Louis, because I talk to people in different cities where people don't want to help them in their city either. And
yeah,
they
for
say a
sure. Yeah.
prophet is never welcome in their own home or their own land or their own.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
crazy,
get that.
right?
It is, but it's all, I find it's really kind of prevalent here. And I think it's because of the mentality of the city itself. We come from a very segregated city.
That's
We don't
very true.
realize it a lot
That's
until you
very
go
true.
elsewhere. We don't realize
Yes.
how much of a red state we are until we go elsewhere. We don't
Yes.
see how much African Americans or the underserved or oppressed until we go elsewhere. We
Yes. Oh
don't
my
really
God.
see the difference in classes a lot until we go elsewhere.
Yes.
So then I think here, everyone does, they just want to get ahead. And it's tough when you feel like, well, if I get you ahead, then that may hinder me moving forward. Or I was, something that was said about me was, why do I have to have everything? Why can't some people have some things, and and I just have my things? That is to me so messed up.
It is. It
It's
is.
so messed up.
But
And it's
it's
so insecure. And
it
it's
is.
so unfortunate because the thing that's scary is you don't even realize that you reap what you sow.
Insecure is the best word you use. It's insecurity.
Yeah.
Being insecure. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Not having the security of yourself, saying it doesn't matter what I give to the next person.
Yeah. 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 That's all he.
They gotta
No.
work it their way anyway. I work my way. I'm gonna give it to you. You're gonna work it your way.
Yeah.
It don't even really matter.
But for me, it doesn't matter. If I see somebody good at something, even if it's something I'm good at, I love to celebrate people. That's just
Yeah.
like me being a singer and, oh, you can sing? Yuck. What?
Right.
When I hear people like Tracy Smith or people like, people we all know, Miley. Oh, hey, Carla. Miley. Am I saying her name right? Miley.
Yes.
Miley.
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 Miley is
Thank you.
correct. Yeah.
People who can, sing. I don't say, oh, I don't want them to come to my program because they're going to
Right.
sing. And then since they can sing, people aren't going to think I can sing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Why aren't, for me, when I hear somebody that can sing, I'll be like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Tracy,
Yeah.
come to my church. I want
All right.
everybody to hear you sing.
Yeah,
Miley,
yeah.
come to my thing. I want everybody to hear. Brad Young, I want everybody to hear your production. I want everybody to hear that you can play. I want everybody to know. Because if I can sing, that means I'm a good judge of other singers.
Right.
If I'm
Yep.
winning, I'm a good judge at people winning.
Yeah.
So let's win.
Let's
Let's
win. That's all
go.
win. Let's win. Ain't no
Let's
fun. It
win.
ain't no fun if I'm the only person at the top.
That.
I want because and then see I think that the problem with St. Louis is people really don't understand what economy means, and in order to have an economy we have to have each other. We feed off each other. Like you got to buy from me, but I also have to buy from you. That's what
Yeah.
economy is.
Yeah.
Economy is not me just take from everybody and hold on to it.
Yeah.
That's not
a
economy.
monopoly.
That's a
Yeah.
monopoly. So we
Yeah.
have to understand economy. Like it's if I got a million, you got a million.
Mm-hmm.
and Fee got 1 million, then we're gonna be what you call circulating.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep
Yeah.
on coming back around.
Yeah.
Keep on coming back around. But if I'm the only one with it,
Yeah.
that makes no sense. It's just
Yeah.
gonna go out and not come back to me.
It's not gonna come
If
back.
you ever want to be a billionaire, teach people how to be millionaires.
Yep. Yep. All of Warren Buffett's friends are billionaires too.
Yeah.
He's not the billionaire, and all his friends
Right.
are the peons
Right.
serving him. Because that's what people want, right? They want servants, apparently. They
Yeah.
want to be the rich one. And then you just sit around me. No, his friends are billionaires too.
Right.
Because he grasped hold of value investing and taught them how to take their pennies and invest in things that they knew about. I
Yeah, that's awesome.
said the term monopoly before, but I feel like a lot of us are victims or what do you call it? Not victims, are guilty of being a part of oligopolies. Oh, come on, finance, Leslie, you welcome. See, we try to bring a little information on to the
Okay.
show too. And the oligopoly basically is when the government forces a monopoly to break up.
Mhm.
So an oligopoly could be Walmart, Target,
Yeah.
and all of these are what they would consider, big box stores, right? So it's no fun when they're the only ones making money.
Right.
Right? All the
Right.
money just going to them. It's still
Right.
an oligopoly. That means it's still kind of only going in one area, even
Right.
though it's multiple businesses in
Right.
this one category. But I found it was more exciting than in DC, where I saw little boutiques everywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
little shops. And yeah, they all
Everywhere,
sell
yeah.
clothes. But I wanted to go in each and every one. Listen, I had enough money for everybody. I don't want to just. And I feel like if we could adopt that mentality, even if we all are selling clothes, I'm not selling the shirts you selling, but why can't we just we all sell shirts. Let's find a block where we sell shirts.
And it's a shirt block.
I think
that we had that togetherness and that camaraderie before when we were segregated. We had that because we had no other choice. We could only buy from each other and trade with each other. But after segregation is when they infiltrated and created this plan to say, okay, if you want to be equal to us, fine, but you're not gonna have if you want to be equal to us, then you're only gonna shop from us. You know what I'm saying? You can't. We're not gonna let you have your own stores and your own hospitals and your own meat. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, my grandparents would tell me like that gas station was a black man gas station. That was a black hospital. It was all black doctors. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, what? I'm like, it was a hospital with all black doctors. Like, yeah, they had all black doctors in that hospital. And I was
that was
amazed by that. It was intentional. And I was like, and it was like all these gas stations around here. It was a black man who owned all these gas stations. I'm like, what? They like a black man owned a supermarket. There was a black man who owned that, or a black woman. And I was in disbelief because I grew up in a time where black people didn't own nothing in the hood. Nothing. But maybe a barbecue shack or something.
Yeah.
So after segregation is when we really lost our way, and we became separated, and we became crabs in a bucket. That's sad.
Well, I could tell you this. It was even before. So there's a book that I always recommend. I feel like everyone should read it. Every African American should read it, but especially in St. Louis, or if you're from here. And it's called The Broken Heart, America, St. Louis, and the Violent History of the United States. And it gives us a very specific timeline when things were happening. Post-Civil War, we thrived. Downtown St. Louis. In St. Louis, we had, like you said, our own neighborhoods. We had our own militia, basically policing. We had our own judicial system. We had our own banks. We had our own stores. We had everything. But it's always the jealousy of those around us to say they can't be equal with us.
Yep.
They can't have what we have. That's what happened with the massacre of East St. Louis. Look
A
at it.
lot
They
of people
killed
don't know
all those
about that.
people. They killed the whole city. But
Yeah,
there were very few Black people who made it out of that massacre. They
yeah,
were burning their houses, and then if they run out the houses, shooting them. And then when they would run to the neighbors' houses to hide, the neighbors weren't letting them in. So then whoever was outside was just getting shot up.
that's
But that
crazy.
was because they were upset that we were working in factories and we had equal opportunity as far as employment and making money. It's never the intention of how do I say this, of an imperialistic nation whose main goal is to promote white supremacy to ever have
Ever.
us to have equality. Let's just
Yeah,
start there. It's
absolutely.
never the plan for us to have what they have. It's
No,
never
it's
the
not,
plan. And you
because
can
they don't
keep
want us.
reading, you
They
can
don't want
keep
us to pay
looking.
them back.
Yeah, look in the law books. There are laws right now. There are zoning laws that's happening right here in St. Louis County to keep our students out of their schools today, 2021.
But
Sorry,
the saddest part
2025.
about it is you don't want our students in your schools, but you don't want our curriculum in our own schools.
Well, that's
You,
because if we create anything to empower us, it could put us on a platform to be equal.
yeah,
And when the
that's
plan
sad.
is for us not to be, then you do have to do everything in your power to break that down.
Yeah,
One of the things that was said by the politicians here in St. Louis was because when they bought up, okay, so let's start here real quick. Um, St. Louis was part of the Louisiana Purchase, and the biggest project with the Louisiana Purchase and the expansion westward was what they called the Indian Removal Project. You can look that up. That happened in, when they purchased the land, and the Native Americans owned all the land. Well, I got a little Native American in me, but they own all the land. West of the Mississippi River, including what we call Osage. The Osage Indians own all of St. Louis and areas abroad. And a member or one of the people who married the Osage woman in order to get this land was a man whose last name was Choteau. We like to call it Shoto because we don't know
yeah,
no better. But the
yeah,
Choteaus, they own all of Pine Lawn, all of what we see in the Grove, all of that. He manipulated that land from the Osage people, as well as they manipulated Sacagawea to show them through the path to the west. They ended up taking her son and then killing her and all the people that made friends with them along the way.
that's
Um,
disgusting.
the biggest thing was for them to remove all the Indians because they owned the land and by any means necessary, with guns, with scalping. That's when we talk about them moving them to the reservation. Well, it was kind of not moving them, forced. They can
Yeah,
put anything on. If you plant a flower on a Native American's property, you could tell the federal government, not us, them, could tell the
yeah,
federal government they improved their land, and the federal government gives them rights to up to 150 acres of their land. And that's how most of St. Louis was purchased from
that's
them.
crazy. That's crazy.
So then when we came along, when they freed the slaves, their biggest thing was, so what are we gonna do with all these Black people? They didn't care about us. We didn't
Right,
own anything.
right.
We were just in the way. What are you
Yeah,
gonna do with all these Black people? And the rule was, do whatever you want to do with them. Do whatever you want to. And it's like that to this day. If they get in your way, kill them. It doesn't matter. They're collateral damage.
yeah,
The moral of the story is they had landlords who came in and was like, okay, we own this property, so we're going to put 12 or 14 families per family flat. And they didn't understand how, even though they oppressed us, we still thrived. And that's what I want to say even now. We are resilient.
absolutely.
They take, they take, they take. They don't want us to have, they don't want us to have. They hide the knowledge, they hide the information. But we have platforms like this now, where now that we have the information, now that we know a little bit about financial empowerment and liberation, now it's our job for each one to teach one, not for each one of us to hoard our knowledge so that we're
Yes.
the only ones with all the
Yes.
money and all the information. We
Yes.
can have our own banks again and judicial system and hospitals, and but we have to get rid of the mentality of being segregated.
Hmm.
We have to work together, period.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
there's a lot to be done. This is a tall order when again we're so full of malice and insecurity amongst ourselves. How can we even
Absolutely.
get to the next place to where we can help each other if we're still so busy being jealous? And
Yeah.
if you don't want one to have what you have, that's so unfortunate. So I'm
I
grateful
think,
for people like you and these platforms where we can have these conversations and
yeah.
maybe we'll start thinking differently. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think that, and I think that too, it starts with the youth. I think it starts with us teaching the kids. So by the time they our age, they working together. I think it's that we have to instill in them, hey, you have to work with your brother. You have to. It's imperative. Because if you don't, then y'all gonna perish. If you
Yeah.
don't, then y'all gonna be taken advantage of. So I
Mhm.
think it's most definitely our duty as the next generation, because we are the next generation to control. So we're not
Mhm.
in control yet. But by the
Mhm.
time 20 years, 30 years from now, we'll be in our 60s, it's going to be our time to control the world, because the people who control it now, the ones that's in their six, they'll be too old. You know what I'm saying? They'll be
Yeah.
done. So
Yeah.
we are next. So
Yeah.
it's on us to give it to them. So when we sit down, they already have it. They'll have it all the way together. And from
Yeah.
generation to generation, we'll do better. So that's what I think we need to do.
It starts in the home though.
Yeah,
We
for
have
sure.
to we have to teach better. We have
Yeah.
to
Oh yeah, absolutely.
start giving them that financial information and education and that literacy now. Teach them how to balance checkbooks. Teach them the importance of credit. Teach them how to purchase real estate and
Hmm.
invest and flip it or turn it over. You don't have to flip it and sell it, but what I mean by having it and flipping it is take the income from that, however you're doing it, whether you're renting it or what, and then use it to get something else.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get too far into that because we are running out of time. I have to address your braces, Brad Young. Only reason I'm saying this, it goes. Look, y'all know how I'm gonna bring it in, but we talk about the physical components of being balanced. One of my pet peeves is adults who don't take care of their teeth.
Yeah.
It bothers me, Brad Young. It just does. Listen, I paid a lot of
Yeah.
money for these teeth, Kirk, and I try to take care. I go get them clean. I go to the dentist and get them
Yeah.
clean. People don't know the difference between the dentist and the orthodontist. People don't
Yeah.
know that you can have straight teeth, or your teeth can be clean. Your breath don't have to stink. Your gums should not be swollen and red, and you're grown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You gotta
tell
take care of
me,
yourself.
I remember before I got braces, I remember when a friend of mine got braces, I was like, aren't you too old for braces? Then I
Yeah.
found myself her same age with
Get the
braces.
braces.
And it's still, I was, but to this day, it is still the best decision I've ever made. I
Yeah,
was so
because your smile is
self-conscious about
gorgeous.
my smile. And I
I remember.
and I
Listen,
love to smile.
when you were younger, you used to smile like this.
I did. I did everything like this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. You
did
used to
because
do
of
that.
my teeth.
Yeah.
And
Now you just be like, it is
listen,
me.
oh, you can't stop me. But it was something I did for me that might have been small to somebody else, but now I paid that little money. I didn't even have them. I had them a little over a year and a lifetime now
Yes.
of teeth that I'm happy about. What made you go ahead at your age and get braces and encourage somebody else that might be on the fence about it?
Because
Okay.
I wanted to feel good. Like I like you feel better. So you smile more, and you are even more bubbly, and even
Yeah.
more, you draw people in even more according to how you feel. So my wisdom teeth had grew in, and when they grew in, they shifted all my teeth forward.
Oh
So my
wow.
teeth started turning inward. So I mean, it was a small notice, but I just said, you know what? the best investment is to invest in me. So
Yeah.
it's something that you can't take from me. You can't take this out of my mouth. You know what I'm saying? You can't take my straight teeth away from me.
You can't
take it
listen.
away from me. So I was like, you know, it don't matter how old I am. I'm gonna go ahead and go through this year with these braces, and I'm gonna get them off, and I'm gonna get my teeth clean and white, and I'm gonna be smiling just like you all the time. You know? Because I want to feel good.
This is what
Yeah,
we
just
do.
do whatever
I
makes
know
you
what
feel
people
good.
do.
It don't matter what it is. If you feel like it'll make you feel good, do it. Because if you feel good, then you're gonna attract good to you. So do whatever it is. Invest however much money it is or whatever it is into you to feel good, to manifest more great things to you. And that's what I did.
Well, thank you, Brad Young. You are always a pleasure to talk to. I love you. Y'all, I would be walking down the hall and just yell, I love you, Brad Young. I still do. I still do. I mean it.
I love you too, Melva.
I mean it. Thank you for joining us. Thank y'all for joining us. I saw one of my good friends live comment. Thank you, Carla. Thank everybody. Again, subscribe to our page. Hit the bell. We're here every week talking about the things that you want to hear about.
Amen.
So again, if you like what you heard, tell a friend about the show. Visit us again at Find Out Consulting Group. You can visit our website at findoutconsultinggroup.com if you want to become a part of our community. If you want help in creating your perfect work or the tools you need to create generational wealth. And again, we want to thank our very special guest, Platinum Gold producer Brad Young. Where can we find you, Brad, if we want to talk to you?
You can find me on social media, on all social media platforms. It's Brad Young. That's it. But it's Brad with 2 D, so it's BRADDYOUNG. So Instagram, Brad Young. Facebook, Brad Young. Twitter, Brad Young.
Book him, y'all. He busy, so try to get in where you fit in.
Yeah.
That's another segment of Let's Talk. Thank y'all again for joining us. See y'all next week.